I was on the phone with this guy yesterday, and we were having a talk about, things about recovery, not necessarily recovery coaching, and sort of reaching that point of our lives where we, kind of end up doing what we were supposed to be doing. And I said, I've landed here training recovery coaching, and it feels like everything I've done in my life has led me up to this.
So, funny thing, thinking about being a coach of coaches and, working with a wide variety of people. One of the experiences that I've had in my past, and actually I was trained in the fashion industry. I took fashion merchandising in my early 20s. And I loved the fashion industry. It was just something that was in my, in my veins, I think, to kind of be in that industry. But one of the things that when I returned to working in the fashion industry many years later, worked at a beautiful boutique, and I would often get women coming in saying, like, I really want to find a dress. I'm looking for a mother of the bride dress. And I learned over time, not right away, but I learned over time to say, what picture do you have in your mind when you think of mother of the bride dress? What comes to your mind? And so they would start telling me the style, whether it was flowy or whether it was, conservative, more of a dress suit, or, whatever it was. They would start telling me the color, everything. And that would allow me to better resource them with what they wanted, what we had available in the store, and what they might want.
So why is that? Like, I mean, I can dissect some of it. I think, from very, very, very young age, I've been extremely curious. Like, I mean, I'm talking annoyingly curious. Like, I will stop at the guy who's sweeping up the popcorn in the theater and spark up a 45-minute conversation because I want to know, what's it like? What do you find in here? Like, what's the strangest thing you found in here? Like, what's work like? I want to know these things. There's something deep in my guts that wants to know these things, and that curiosity is something that lives on when we're holding space in this room.
And so it was an interesting discovery for me. And looking back, I see how that's such an alignment with coaching, because until I can know what somebody has pictured in their mind and what they're asking for and what they want, I can't possibly you know resource them properly with what's available. So I love that even that small piece of my former experience is applicable in what I'm doing right now.
When I was a journalist, that curiosity lived on as well. And, I would talk to all kinds of people, from medical professionals to you name it, all across the board. We would be interviewing all kinds of people, and we had to be ready to be sort of, teachable. And I would say that, in even though we're supposed to be kind of like leading the class, or we're holding this class, I learn, I think, more than the people in the room. And I'm sure of it. I said in our last class in Calgary that I've been changed this week, and it's true almost every training. I'm changed. I come out a different man than went in, because the class changes me.
Another part that was so interesting to me is thinking about even when I was a homeschool mom, and really pulling my hair out and wondering, am I ever going to be able to do this? But because my kids had learning differences, I put them in different homeschool groups available through the school district. So there were certain prescribed learning outcomes that they had to meet in order to get their grades. So, but what we would do is we would really apply it to what they were learning. So we would adapt what they were learning to meet those prescribed learning outcomes, or PLOs. And that allowed my kids to really flourish in the way that they wanted to really educate themselves on the things that they were really interested in, not what somebody else told them to learn, not what book somebody else said that they had to read. They got to choose that book. They got to write the report on what they were interested in. And so it was very freeing for them to be able to do that. And they tried so many different things, extracurricular activities, again, that they were interested in, that they wanted to do. So, and we would count that for their physical activity, for their music, for their art, all of the different things that they were involved in.
And one of the other things that sort of sparked to life for me that kind of landed me here was that I started a meditation and mindfulness practice, daily meditation and mindfulness practice when I was 15 years old. And that, for me, elevated my level of listening, and it also elevated my level of compassion. And they know it's authentic. They know we really want to be there.
The number one thing that I wanted to ensure was that they were, first of all, loved exactly as they were. And secondly, that they were well able, that they could excel, even as they were, even though they maybe didn't fit exactly into, the academics in a classroom, but that they could still bring all of who they were and be exactly right with what they had. So so I love that. Another piece of this that around being a coach of coaches is just meeting people exactly as they are, and knowing that, with coaching skills, there are technical skills and there are relational skills. And the technical skills, like, of course, that's part of a big part of our course. They're important, and coaching is not just, relationship, and it's not just technical skills. It's both.
When we first started training this, the room was full of addiction medicine doctors and addictions counselors and clinicians. And I thought, what am I doing in front of this room? Like, teaching these people, they know this stuff. They know so much. But what we were teaching them is about recovery coaching.
I can teach people those technical skills, but that relational part, that empathy, that their personality, the things, that I've seen with different coaches, like it's delightful to see how many different people that arrive into their rooms, and how they use all of themselves to really lean into the coaching practice. And I can't teach that part. That's just who they are.
And it's a totally different approach than they are used to. Out of all of that, I learned so much.
It's really fun to see them, some people being, really chill, very relational, very laid back, like unfettered, right? And then somebody else that's has a big personality, and there's just so many different people that come into a coaching experience, and you know what? Like, they're all exactly right, because there's always going to be somebody for everybody. And they will reach people that I will never have the opportunity to meet. And they will be exactly right for somebody else that I would never attract. I would never be able to work with someone. But I know that there is someone that will work with them that is exactly right for that person.
If I had the energy to train a class every week, I would. But it's exhausting. And I've talked to other facilitators as well, and anybody who's done it, lives to do it. It's like nothing else. And they say that you find to do what you love, you never work another day in your life. And I found what I love doing. This is it. And I've landed here for a very good reason, and I'm not going to be giving this up anytime soon.
So that's what's wonderful, is that it's, there's always going to be someone for everyone. And that's what we want to do, is just to amplify the skills that people have, the life experience, the perspective, the thinking, the personality that people have. And just, we're not all going to be the same. We're not. But how we can still harness the power of that personality, those technical skills, that perspective, that lived experience, and just amplify it, that they have everything they need. So it's exciting. It's really exciting.